With Nick Saban retiring, the Aggies are going after a former five-star Alabama commit.
You are Locked On Aggies, your daily podcast on the Texas A&M Aggies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on in to Locked On Aggies. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak. Thanks for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. So, crazy news struck the college football world yesterday as Nick Saban announced he's calling it a career. Absolute legend. There's nothing else you can say about Nick Saban, but absolute legend. Hope you enjoy retirement, Coach Saban. I know all the college football community is going to enjoy not having to lose to you and maybe enjoy Alabama not being what it has been for so long with Coach Saban moving on. But when it comes to Texas A&M, this could end up being a big deal. And that is because Ryan Williams, a five-star wide receiver who was committed to Alabama, when the news broke that Coach Saban was retiring, Ryan Williams decommitted within seconds. And what is the first thing he does? He plans a visit to come to Texas A&M. And I'll tell you, this kid is going to be, I'll tell you this right now, he will be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. He's going to be an absolute star. I think his true freshman season, he's going to be a potential All-American, All-SEC player. I've watched a lot of football in my days. I've watched a lot of high school tape in my days. I've scouted a lot of players in my days. I've never been this excited about a recruit in my entire life. I think Ryan Williams is going to go. Seriously, I think he's going to move on to the NFL and have a Hall of Fame career. I think this guy is the most surefire star I have ever seen. So he was actually a 2025 player. He recently reclassified. And what's so funny about Ryan Williams is he was, a top 5 player in the 2024 class, and then he reclassifies to the 2024. He was a top 5 player in the 2025 class, and then he reclassifies to 2024, and he's still a top 15 player in the class. You don't see that a lot. A lot of times we'll see a player, he's in the 2025 class, and then he reclassifies, and he's a top 10 player, and he reclassified, and now he's, the number 32 player. You just don't see it a lot. He's going to be a star. And hopefully that's a Texas A&M. Now you got to remember, who was Ryan Williams, one of his lead recruiters at Alabama, you might ask? Well, that'd be Holmon Wiggins, Texas A&M's current wide receivers coach. So, Auburn is the other school to watch here. I've seen crystal balls for Auburn to land Williams. I think that they've been after him for a long time. But I do have a feeling that while he might be leaning Auburn now, Texas A&M is going to get their push. I don't think he was really much considering Texas A&M. So the Aggies are going to have to make a push now. And he clearly likes Wiggins. Wiggins is a guy who's proven, hey, I can develop talent. I can develop NFL talent. So, I think that if you look at this, Texas A&M is going to have a chance here. Not saying it's for sure. Not saying they're going to land Williams. Not saying it's a guarantee. But they're going to make a push. The fact that he wants to come to campus this quick after Coach Saban retires and he takes away his commitment from Alabama, there's some interest there. He clearly likes Coach Wiggins. He clearly wants to play for Coach Wiggins. So if Texas A&M can make a push for the 6'5", 165-pound receiver, maybe they can land them. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and convince you that Auburn doesn't have a lead for Williams right now, because they do. Coach Freeze is after him. I was reading about Williams to see kind of where Auburn stood with them, and it sounds like Auburn, they've got they got Cam Coleman, and they got another good receiver and a couple more, and the plan is to call these guys the Freeze 5 if they can land Williams. And it's like, you don't want that. You don't want Auburn having these good players. I don't want that, because here's the deal. I'll tell you this right now. Let's say Williams does pick Auburn, okay? When Texas A&M is game planning for Auburn in a couple months, and we're breaking down that game here on the show, I'm going to be, key matchups, players to watch out for. Ryan Williams is going to be one of them, because that's how good this guy is. He would have been a star this year at Alabama. He would be at Texas A&M. He would be at Auburn. He would be with the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, this dude is incredible. And if you could land him and then sign Terry Bussey, this class closes out so incredibly well. The receiver room, you still got Noah Thomas, you still got Jahdae Walker, you got the new guy in Jabri Barber, you got Cyrus Allen, you still got Moose, you got Tease. I mean, you got some players in this room. You got some dudes in this room. There's no question there, no debating it. No overthinking it. You got some players there. But, and I'll say this, I mean, Ryan Williams walks in and he's the best wide receiver in this room, just like that. That's how good he is. I have your immediate starter, and that's wherever he goes. Like I said, I believe he'd have been an immediate starter at Bama. I believe he would have been at Auburn. I believe he would be at Texas A&M if he did pick Texas A&M. So this is an opportunity for Holmon Wiggins and Mike Elko to flex their recruiting muscles. Now, yes, obviously Texas A&M has an advantage that Wiggins was going to be Williams' position coach at Alabama. He recruited him. We talk about how important building relationships is. Williams had been committed to Alabama for a very long time. Wiggins had a very long relationship built with Williams. So I do think that gives Texas A&M an advantage. I talk about how, Coach Elko going after some of these players, talented players, late. It's hard to make that push because recruiting is all about relationships. Like I always say that all the time. Well, that's already built with Coach Holmon Wiggins and Ryan Williams. So here's the deal. Can I say that I have confidence Texas A&M will land Ryan Williams? I cannot. But what I can say is they're going to have a shot at this. They're going to have a shot at this. I think Holmon Wiggins, as I discussed when we talked about him being brought on the coaching staff, I think he is going to do something special with wide receivers at Texas A&M. I think, that's one nice thing about bringing in the coach from Alabama. You could point at the bulletin board and say, okay, I put this guy in the NFL. I put this guy here. This guy won a Heisman. I mean, you can do that with all of these former Alabama wide receivers, point at guys in the NFL and say, yeah, I coached him, developed him, recruited him. That is what I'm kind of getting at here. And Holmon Wiggins can do that, and he can give Ryan Williams the same pitch. Say, hey, come here. We got great quarterbacks. I can develop you. I can get you to the next level. Come here and be a star, or go to Auburn and have the football thrown to you by Peyton Thorne. I mean, who would want to do that? No one, you know what I mean? Who wants to do that? I get that Auburn has some great receivers, but if Peyton Thorne's the one throwing him the football, does it really matter? So it'll be very interesting to hear how this visit goes, because I'm telling you, Ryan Williams is an absolute game changer. Wherever he goes, he's going to be a star. This guy's going to be an NFL player. And I'll challenge you all, go watch the tape on this kid. Like I said, please go watch the tape. I promise it will not disappoint you on this Thursday morning. Please go take a look at it. This is a big visit coming up, and we will keep you updated on how it goes. Another interesting topic. Obviously the portal's open for Alabama players now. And whatever coach Alabama brings in, the portal's going to be open for that school. So my question is, could Texas A&M go and get some players from some of the top schools thanks to this coaching change at some of the best programs in college football? We'll have that conversation coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But I got to tell you about our wonderful friends over at Game Time. I love Game Time. As you everydayers know, I sit here and discuss Game Time all the time, and I talk about how what I love about this service, this app, is that they go out of their way to save their customers money. A lot of the competition, a lot of these ticketing services, they want to charge you as much as they possibly can for a ticket. Game Time is the polar opposite. They want to save you money. That is what Game Time wants to do, and that's what I love about them. Here's your money. Money don't grow on trees, and we all want to go to ball games, comedy events, music concerts. We all want to go to these things, right? But we don't want to pay an arm and a leg. With Game Time, you don't have to, and that's what I love about the service. My favorite feature on the app is how you can see your seat before you get to the event. It has a little a thing it does where it shows you where you can see where your ticket is compared to the field, the stage, whatever. It's a really cool feature. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. So, Nick Saban's gone. We already discussed that. And get this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure y'all sitting and watching this have seen it by now. I just got a notification from Schefter that Bill Belichick's moving on. So think about that. You have the GOAT of college football and the GOAT of NFL moving on within hours of each other. And then Pete Carroll too. I mean, this is a crazy football. Football's changed. I grew up Bill Belichick, Nick Saban. It's a crazy time. So I think Belichick might try and get in the job, but we'll see. But beside the point. So, the Alabama job is open. And the portal is open for those players. You're going to start to see, they got 30 days now when there's a coaching change. So you're going to start to see some of these players jump in the portal. And obviously at Alabama, they tend to have some talented players. No secret there. That is a pool that I think, hey, Coach Mike Elko might go try and see if he can pull some players. And then think about it. Alabama's got to get a coach somewhere. I've seen that the two top candidates probably are Dan Lanning at Oregon, which I have to add the point. And if there's any Oregon fans in attendance, I don't know why there would be, but I'm going to give you all a hard time for a minute. When Jimbo was let go and Texas A&M was looking for a coach, one of the first places I looked was Dan Lanning. And I feel like a lot of people kind of did the same. And all the Oregon fans were like, Dan Lanning loves Oregon. He's not leaving Oregon for anywhere. He wouldn't leave. He's not going anywhere. So it would be a little bit funny if Dan Lanning left. And I get the Alabama job. I get that. But it would be funny. It would be funny if Dan Lanning left with the Oregon fans saying he's not going anywhere. But so let's say they get Dan Lanning. Or let's say it's Lane Kiffin. Okay, right? That means that two probably top 10, top 15 rosters in all college football are going to lose a lot of talented players. That means a lot of talent is being added to the transfer portal that wasn't previously there. Like, let me throw a scenario at you. Is it likely? No, but it's just a scenario, and I want to lay this out. So let's say Lane Kiffin takes a job at Alabama, right? Okay. What if, let's say Lane Kiffin takes a job. What if Walter Nolan decides, hey, I don't want to be here without Lane Kiffin. Maybe he comes back to Texas A&M. Is that a realistic possibility? I mean, maybe. But what I'm saying, not likely. What I'm saying is a coach has to take that job. Well, now assuming it's a college coach, it could could Mike Vrabel take it or some random NFL person. That could happen too. But assuming it's a college coach, two of the best rosters in college football are going to be freed up for coaches to come and take some of the players. And Texas A&M has absolutely killed it in the transfer portal. Mike Elko has been incredible in the transfer portal. So can he finish strong? Could he go get a couple former 5-star Bama players or former high 4-star Ole Miss players? That's kind of what I'm getting at here. So it'll be interesting. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a period here where we're going to see, like, who do they hire? Do some of the Alabama players hold on? Like, I'll give you an example. There's a couple receivers over there at Bama that, like a Bond, for example. The Bond, Isaiah Bond, let's say he decided to enter the portal, right? I mean, Holmon Wiggins was his coach. Could you go get somebody like that who I think is going to be a really good football player? I don't know what grade he's in. Let me pull up what grade he's in. But I saw someone tweet that is actually what made me bring that up. He was he a sophomore? I think he was a sophomore this year. Let's see when he graduated high school. I'll tell you right now. 2022? 2022, so he'll be a junior this year. So, yeah, so that's a player you could go get. This is what I'm saying. Like, players like that might want to look for a new home, depending on the coach hire. This could give Coach Elko an opportunity to go and add some more talent to this roster. And then, as I said, could it be an Oregon roster opening up? Could it be the Ole Miss roster opening up? Ole Miss, out of the high school ranks, there's not a ton there that really gets you excited, but there is a lot of talented transfer portal additions they made that, hey, I wouldn't hate having them on the roster, some of those players, bringing back a Walter Nolan, bringing in the former the receiver from South Carolina last year. I'm blanking on his name right now. But players like that, that's what I'm getting at. I think this gives Texas A&M a chance to go and try and pull some talented players from some of the best rosters in college football. And that is going to be really interesting to see how that works. I wouldn't be surprised to see, and this will be the case for all the schools. I mean, everybody's going to be, it's like, a dead animal and then turkey vultures are coming in. That's what it's going to be like. So if that can lead to some talent for Texas A&M, listen, the Aggies are not done in the portal. They are not done in the portal. They are still trying to land some more players. And I think that this is an opportunity to go get some real talent that wouldn't have been in the portal had Coach Saban not decided to retire, and whatever coach taken over for Coach Saban, wasn't going to take over. So that's what I'm saying. It's an opportunity for not just Alabama, not just Texas A&M, excuse me, but a ton of schools to go after some of the best players in college football. And I do think that you're going to see Coach Elko take advantage of this. So that'll be really interesting. It's something to pay attention to. I think Alabama is going to be pretty quick on this hire. I would be surprised if it was today. I mean, like, genuinely, like, I would not be surprised. They know who they want, and it's Alabama. They're going to go get who they want. The season's over. I have a feeling that you're going to see this happen like that. So I think this picture will be painted soon, and you'll see if Texas A&M is going to start landing some players from Alabama, and then potentially whatever school's coach takes the job at Alabama. What would I grade Mike Elko's job at Texas A&M so far? I also want to hear yours. We're going to have that conversation coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. There's lots of different tools within the app you can use to help build parlays. They've got recommended parlays. They've got so much stuff that just makes betting, learning how to bet on the app easy. The app is so easy to use. I love using FanDuel. It's the best place to go and wager on all of your different sports. I'm going over to my buddy Bryce's house tonight. We're going to watch the NBA. We'll make a parlay. And it's just a ton of fun. It is just a ton of fun. I'm not a big NBA guy. I don't watch it a ton. I'm trying to learn about it. I've gotten more into it, and this makes it a lot more fun. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. So before we call it a day here on Locked On Aggies, I want to talk for a minute about giving Coach Elko a grade for what he's done. And listen, I want to add the point. Some people might be quick to say, well, Andrew, Coach Elko's only been here a month. How can you give him a grade? I'll respond this to you. This month is make or break because you're hiring your staff. You're going to get players in the portal. You're trying to keep players in your recruiting class. You're trying to finish off strong on signing day. You're trying to keep players on your roster. You are fighting a lot of battles when you first take over a job as a head coach. And I think Mike Elko has done an incredible job so far. Y'all know, once again, one thing I live and die by is if I'm wrong about something, I'm going to tell you. If I ever have a take that doesn't pan out, I'll tell you. Y'all know how I am about Connor Wigman. I mean, I am in on Connor Wigman. Hey, if Henderson or Reed wins the job, I'll tell y'all, hey, I was wrong. That's how I am. And I was a little skeptical about Mike Elko. I was. I'll own that. And to this point, he has proven me wrong. I think he has done an incredible job. I've given him an A right now. I think if he holds on to Bussy, I think you make that an A+. I mean, really. What he's done, he has killed it in the portal. He has done an incredible job in the portal. I think he lost some players. Now, here's the deal. I'm not upset about Elko losing a Walter Nolan and an Evan Stewart because at the end of the day, you're going to lose players. It's part of it. You are not going to hold on to everybody on the roster. But he's done a good job holding on to enough to where this team can really compete this season. And he's brought in so much transfer portal talent, and he ain't done yet. I think the coaching staff is outstanding. I think Colin Klein is going to be a star. I think Mike Elko is going to do great with this defense. I think Bateman's going to do great with this defense. I think the Moffitt hire, strength and conditioning, is incredible. I think that Holmon Wiggins is an incredible hire. I think that he is going to be another guy who I wouldn't be surprised to see Holmon Wiggins as a head football coach in college football within 4 or 5 years. I think he's a very talented young coach. So staff-wise, I think Elko's killed it. I think he's done incredible in the portal. I think he's done just about as good as you can holding on to the recruiting class and holding on to the roster. You're going to lose recruits. You're going to lose players to the portal. But I think he's held on to enough to where this roster, like I said, with all these talented portal additions, can compete with a manageable 2024 schedule, can compete right away. So, yeah, Mike Elko, to me, has done a really good job. I've been really impressed with him. I think he's building a great culture. We all know how important that is. There's some programs that just don't have a great culture. Maybe some coaches aren't creating a good culture, or some players aren't helping create a good culture. In the NIL world, it's hard. Some players get full of themselves or they're in it for the money. And NIL is a great thing. It is. Of these players be able to provide for their families and live the college life and have money is a great thing. It is. Of course it is. You're not going to get any argument from me on that. But I do think it does, get some players a little bit full of themselves and lead to some guys maybe not being the best teammates. And that's a culture problem, and it's not always the coach's fault, but the coaches have to know how to handle that. And I think Mike Elko is going to do a great job at that. It's part of being at Texas A&M with all the money, all the NIL. It's part of it, and I think Coach Elko is going to nail that. So I'm giving him an A so far. I think he's done an incredible job. If he pulls a Ryan Williams and holds on to a Terry Bussey, I might give him an A++. But I've been very happy with what Coach Elko has done thus far. Let me know in the comments how you all feel about what Coach Elko has done so far. Give me a grade on his performance at Texas A&M during his young Aggie head coaching career. That's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Aggies. Thank you all so much, everydayers, for being here. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. All that helps a ton. And then if you're listening on a podcast platform, leave a 5-star review. That helps as well. Hope everybody has a great rest of your Thursday, and we will see you tomorrow.